Welcome to Chapter 10. There are tons of interesting people from this chapter that we could talk about here, like Hobbes and Locke, Copernicus and Galileo and Kepler, but the book does a great job of covering them. I want to take a minute to focus on one person that we don't talk about much in terms of history that the book just briefly mentioned. When I think of Pythagoras, I think of him as the triangle dude. So when the book mentioned Pythagoras and his followers on page 232, it reminded me that we should take another look at Pythagoras and to recognize him for the philosopher that he really was. Because of the Pythagorean theorem that says a squared plus b squared equals c squared, we tend to associate him with triangles and thus geometry, which is math. And because triangles have three sides, it's easy for us today to make an association with Christianity's belief in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. However, it might surprise you that Pythagoras' biggest following had nothing to do with the number 3. His biggest following back during his day was for his belief in his teachings about the number 1. Pythagoras did not see 1 as a number at all. He saw it as a deity, as a god. He said that 1 always existed and therefore was never created. It just was. 1 can't be reproduced, but is a reproducing number. And for that reason, Pythagoras saw it as a creator. He assigned other numbers genders. Odd numbers were male and even numbers were female, but 1 remained genderless. So you're probably thinking, wait a minute, 1's an odd number, so it should be male. But remember, Pythagoras didn't see 1 as a number at all. Pythagoras developed a religious following based on his monad theory, monad meaning 1. His followers led a life of celibacy, except in the summer when people were just naturally healthier because of improved weather conditions. Did you know there's also a lot of folklore surrounding Pythagoras back during his time? Today we call it fake news, but back then some said he had his own journey into the underworld to gain insight into the soul. What actually happened was that he holed himself up in a cave for a few weeks and relied on his mother to sneak news about the community to him. Then when he emerged from the cave with knowledge of the events that happened in his absence, word traveled far and wide of his supernatural abilities. If you'd like to read more about Pythagoras and his cult following, I've included a link below to an article that I wrote about it. You'll be surprised at all the weird things you can find out about history if you delve into it just a little bit.